ya también de la agencia italiana, de AIFA, Entela Xoxi, que es de la unidad de registros de AIFA, nos hablará específicamente de cómo están funcionando los registros.
Okay.
Entela, the floor is yours for the next 15
minutes.
minutes.
Just trying to understand how it's functioning. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a very pleasure for me and my friends to stay here. And of course, Simona is our representative for the policy of the economic pricing of the drugs, but I'm the representative for the registers part because I work actually from 2007 about the monitoring registers and the web-based system of monitoring. So it's a really pleasure to share our experience with you today. This is my public declaration of transparency. So this is the drug life cycle approach. I want to begin with this this slide just to show you how the managed entry agreements and the registries are very interesting for the market entry and for the real-world effectiveness and the safety of drugs. I have to use this, okay. So we know that the clinical, the first phases of the clinical development of a new drug, we have the yearly dialogue between the industry, the regulatory agency, the European agency, the scientific advice, but in this context, for the early phases of post-marketing of the drug is very interesting, the type of agreement and the web monitoring registries. In Italy, when we speak about the economic agreements, we are speaking on the same time about the monitoring registry, because all these schemes that Simona told before are putting inside in a unique web-based system of monitoring registry. We know that the cost of the drug is prohibitive and unrelated sometimes to benefit size. At the European level, member states no or limited actions are possible. So the registry of the new drug is mandatory, and reimbursement is the only field that the national regulatory agencies may intervene. So the questions how to achieve better outcomes and control the cost curves, what is the cutoff to be considered between therapeutic utility of a new medicines at its cost, the answer is that an innovative drug should be reimbursed only if effective. The welfare systems cannot take any more responsibility for the failures in front of such high cost, and the identifications of the responders in order to ensure an effective therapy against the poor prediction of clinical response at the time of recruitment. So why the AIFA registries exist? First of all, the AIFA registries are drug product registry. For each authorized indications are web-based systems, so exist for to support the regulatory, administrative, and clinical activity of National Health Service, and to improve the public health governance, to analyze the real clinical practice after the conclusion of the clinical trials and the market authorization process. What the AIFA registries are of course telematic and dynamic tools, I said before, are web-based system at national level, and this is very important for us. And I think this is a unique situation in the European context, probably in international context, placed in the early phases after market authorization of the new drugs. When we speak about new drugs, of course, are 90%, 99% all centralized procedures, orphan drugs especially. All the cancer drugs are inside the web monitoring, biologics, and of course high-cost drugs. The AIFA registries has a clear purpose, typically short defined lifespan. The last health covenant, I think 2 or 3 months ago, we have a cutoff of the timing of the monitoring, about 36 months. We have to evaluate the agreement inside and the data collecting inside the web monitoring, and to analyze, of course, in a HTA context, the results of this agreement. Of course, are designed to measure real-world safety and effectiveness and apply the procedures of the managed entry agreements. So the aim of a drug product registry is to verification the correct use of the drug, the safety monitoring, to applicate the managed entry agreement, and to collect data from real clinical practice. This means that the registry gives the opportunity to AIFA to know in the real time the appropriate or the correct use of the drug. This gives the opportunity on the other side to the physician, proof of the correct use, to the pharmacist, the proof to correct dispensing dose, to the regions and the health manager, to the certainty of the hospital centers and local health unit authorized correctly inside the web system. I will explain later that we have a pyramidal structure of the accreditations of all the centers, thanks of the regions and health managers, first level and second level. About the safety monitoring is very interesting because the registries are very important now for the, are very interesting. Thanks of the new regulatory of pharmacovigilance. So I remember the post-authorization safety study or effectiveness study, and we are working together with the transversal group of European agency to understand better how the registers can contribute to collect data before or after the authorization of the centralized procedures. This is very interesting because we know that some of these centralized procedures are conditional approved or accelerated procedures, and collecting data in the early phases after the authorizations, we can produce evidence, more evidence for each new indications or a new product. This is the taxonomy, the general taxonomy. Simona explained very well the two differences or the two groups of financial-based arrangements and performance-based risk sharing. We know that the AMEA is give the opportunity to aim, the managed entry agreements aim to mitigate the impact of uncertainty on cost effect and expenditure of the new drugs. We have two main groups, health outcome based and financial based. The Italian managing, report I show in this slide just the managed entry agreement that are interesting for the monitoring registry. So are shown in the red. Not the management budget impact, the managing uncertainty relating to clinical benefit and cost effectiveness, managing utilization to optimize. These 3, 4, and 5 managing are very interesting because are interesting to the monitoring registries. We can say that the payment by result, cost sharing, success fee, the web-based prescription plans and standard monitoring registry or cost sharing are putting together in a unique web-based system to collect data and to applicate the agreement, the economic agreement. The data collecting in a web-based system data collected through the registries is owned by AIFA, so the data is AIFA, but the maintenance costs are charged by pharmaceutical companies. Currently, we are visiting all this agreement between contracts between our agency and a single pharmaceutical company to accelerate this new contracts, because it's very important for us to maintain, of course, the registries and to evaluate some agreement together with the company. This is the web-based monitoring platform. So we work in a national context, as I said before. The two profiles important is users, is physician and pharmacists. They have a profile ad hoc, so the system web-based is very friendly, it's very simple to use. We have the physician, we can input the data inside in different forms, scheduler. For each indication or for each registry, we have different forms. The first of all is the anographic, demographic form for the patients, and after that we have eligibility, clinical data, prescription and dispensing. So in the same time, the physicians insert data about the prescription, eligibility and prescription, and after that the pharmacist can put inside the dispensing form, and so on. The prescription goes on, the treatment goes on, and after the re-evaluation or reassessment of the disease with inserting of a form, a specific form from the physician, and the last is the end of treatment. There are other forms inside the web system, for example, pregnancy form in case of different drugs, for example, thalidomide, lenalidomide, and we are working to insert the last about the adverse drug reaction, and we are working in these days to link the web monitoring registry with the national pharmacovigilance system. And this is I think this is the last step to conclude our cycle of web-based monitoring to collect data about efficacy, application and agreement, economic agreement, and in the other side to manage the safety of the drug. The typology of the registries are two. We have on the other side the prescription plan. I can report the exam, for example, the sample of new anticoagulant, oral anticoagulant, the dabigatran, rivaroxaban, and apixaban. And on the other side, we have the standard monitoring registries. And in this case, we have a very high quality of data insert, because we have the tracking of all the prescription and dispensing. The prescription plan are very short, because for example, for the oncological drugs, we have prescription for 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month. This depends on the specific of drug, and we track this, and the system has a very stops and blocks inside during the inserting of the forms. And on the other side, the prescription plan are, we say sometimes that are light registries, because we have plan prescriptions about 6 months or 1 year. In this context of typology, of course, I I want to report that inside the registries we have authorized indications, but we have off-label use authorized from AIFA. Sometimes inside a specific law 648, AIFA authorized some indication of label indications, and this indication is very interesting for us to monitoring for the efficacy, the other side, but for the safety sometimes. So you can see that I didn't report in this in this slide, but we have standard monitoring registries for off-label use. And for example, thalidomide for lymphoma, or for myeloma multiple, for some indications, I don't remember very well, but we are monitoring the difference of label use. In these slides, I report the standard monitoring registries and together with the agreement, economic agreement. So you can see that, for example, payment by result and standard web registry means only verification of correct use of the drug, have similar percentage. We have just only one success fee, and that is the same conditions as payment by result. But it's very interesting, the prescription plan, because are very simple. I said before, are light registries, but the number of patients is very high. It's very high, and this is very difficult to manage this kind of registries. About the typology, and I conclude about these slides, but there is a lot of things to say. We are we are reflecting in this period to understand better how what we want to do, because we can add other typology just to understand, thanks of monitoring, web-based monitoring registry, just the use of the drugs, the number of the boxes, for example, or the use or the costs, and not about, for example, to manage the uncertainty or the safety. Probably in the future we have to publish something about this and to change probably some definition. The 2030, the last year, and this year, of course, was very important for us. The IT system of AIFA was changed, and was an opportunity for us to change the platform, the web-based platform of the registries. So now we have a new web platform, and these are the two things, crucial point about the technical improvement. And the second one that I think is very important is the unique demographic patients record. This I want to say because the old registries, we have different registries, different demographic patients form, and was impossible to understand better for each patient if this patient is under treatment for an oncologic or I don't know, another one. In these situations, now we have a unique demographic, so we can monitoring and collecting data correctly and understand better the concomitant treatment for each patient. And the other point important is we are moving unique form for collecting data towards therapeutic indications. Sometimes we say disease, it's not so perfect because you know disease registry is different. We are working in a drug product registries context, but sometimes when we speak about orphan drugs, this is a disease registry, and it's very important, very interesting. Sometimes we are collecting epidemiology, we are collecting data inside, for example, eculizumab registry, and it's a rare disease, and we prepared this registry together with one of the centers of representative of Italy, and I think it's representative for in a European context. And the data about the mutation or the gene information, it's very, very important. I think it's the most difficult registry to collect data, because I think it's about 20 pages of informations, but this I can think is this is the registry. About the therapeutic indications, we are working currently about the oncological area, and for example, we are working just in this moment. We finished to test the unique form of the colorectal metastatic tumor, and so we have unique demographic patients form, and we have unique oncological in this therapeutic area, colorectal metastatic. So inside we can monitoring Avastin, erbiducetuximab, bevacizumab, Zaltrap is coming now, and the other one, Vectibix. So we are very enthusiastic about this new collecting data, and we are very we want to see really what happens when the patients finish the first line for one drug and close the treatment. So we have the end of treatment, and in automatic the system take all the information from the first line, and in second line for the physician it's very simple to insert the data without repeating the same data of the same pathology. So this is our new challenge. So this is the first, but the next one is the lung tumor, and we have melanoma, we have in neurological area, for example, the sclerosis multiple, colitis ulcer, I don't know in English how to say, but anyway, we have other. Okay, so this is just work in progress, and sorry about my enthusiastic description, but we are working very hard. We are very proud to do this in my office. So the other challenge and the other evolution of the registries is this pyramidal structure. And for the new platform, for the new registries was very important, because before we don't have accreditations of the physician and pharmacist and the centers, but we have just an auto certifications by the physicians and the pharmacists. Now we have a pyramidal structure, so first level are the regions, after that health managers, first level and second level, that accreditate the users, the real users, of course, pharmacists and the physicians. This is very important because the quality of data that I remember that we have different problems with the old platforms because we don't have this accreditation, this form of the accreditations, and so the data was difficult to understand better and to collect data to analyze, of course. With this new platform and with this scheme of the accreditations, we have valid data, and of course, and other features that are important for the collecting data with the performance system. We think that this kind of the collecting data, new kind of the collecting data, is better to analyze after 2 years, I think, each indications and each registry for the AIFA, for our commissions, and of course for the to complete this flow, so web-based registrations, centers, users, accreditations, patient registrations, and patient's treatment code. Of course, I didn't say before, but the registry, each registry has, of course, all the technological critical point, so the privacy and the different alerts for the physician and the pharmacist to insert the data. And we have, for example, the alert or the message for the text for the physicians when he is putting data inside about the concomitant treatment, and other text message about the administrative managing of this data. So, as I said before, follow-up, clinical evaluations, adverse drug reaction, end of treatment, and after this, this is the cutoff. This is the end of each treatment. We have the applications of the agreement, because we said before we have a lot of agreements, economic agreements inside the registries. This analysis of the application of the agreement and the collecting data are important for a new contract with adaptation of price and reimbursement parameters. Of course, the applications of an agreement, economic agreement, you can say four kind of the agreement. Simona said before very well the definition of this agreement: payment by result, success fee, risk sharing, and cost sharing. These are applied inside in a web system. So it's the second block, we say, of the registry. So the first one is the appropriateness, verification, safety, and efficacy, and the other one is another block is the applications of agreement. This part, we have two users, very important, the pharmacist and the pharmaceutical company, that have an exchange of information. No, the system in automatic produce credit from the pharmacy to the pharmaceutical company, or in one case for success fee, in the flow is in the other direction. I will explain later. And this, of course, the exchange of informations begin with the pharmacist with the request of reimbursement toward the pharmaceutical company, and after that the pharmaceutical company has the possibility to check in, to accept this reimbursement, and to produce payment to public pharmacies. Okay, this is just to describe the prescription appropriateness inside the registries. I understand that this is very difficult probably to understand, but this is the example of two prescriptions, continuous prescriptions, and the web system has different control inside the system, and the most important for us is the time window between two continuous prescriptions. Of course, this time window is important and depends to the clinical practice in one side, but in the other side is important, and it depends to the agreement characteristics. We can say better here, the application, the procedure of risk sharing, payment by result, success fee are start of the new treatment for all eligible patients. We have evaluation after the first days or the first cycles of the treatment, and we separate the patients in two categories, non-responders and responders. So here we are managing the uncertainty of the drug. The non-responders, the treatment is stopped, and we have a fixed discount rate applied to patients' cost treatment, or of 100% refund for initial patients in case of payment by result. As I said before, payback from market authorization holder to public pharmacy. The other side, on the left, we can say the application of success fee is the same concept of the payment by result, but on the other side, because we start the treatment of patients free, gratis, from the pharmacist, and in case of responders, treatment is continued and reimbursed by National Health Service, but we have payback by public pharmacy to market authorization holder. This is the cost-sharing procedure, very simple, because start of the new treatment in all eligible patients, and we have a discount applied to initial cycles of therapy for all eligible patients, payback by pharmaceutical to public pharmacy. And this is the application, or better, the algorithm of the payment by result and cost-sharing schemes. It's similar at the slide about the appropriateness prescriptions, but here we have other control about the applications of payment by result and cost sharing. The most important are reported here. These maximum numbers of prescription and dispensing form, maximum time elapsed between the last dispensing form and the end of treatment form, and the maximum duration of monitoring. This is for the, in case of uncertainty, the end of treatment must conform, the treatment failure is mandatory. The cost sharing is very simple, and I describe here in red. We are working actually about reporting and analysis with SAS Visual Analytics, and very important for us to analyze, to have, of course, a reporting ad hoc for regions, pharma company, for AIFA too, and of course for our commissions to evaluate, of course, what we collect inside the monitor, the registries. So we know the pros and cons about this kind of system. We have, of course, access to reimbursement, individuation of non-responder patients, early access patients to new therapy, collecting data, optimize the cost efficacy of new therapies. But of course, we know very well that implementing management agreement is very complex. It's very complex because we, together with Simona, we explain 4 kind of agreement, but now we are putting inside different kind of agreement, and I speaking about the variable discount for one treatment, the first cycle to X%, and the other percent different. And sometimes we have cost sharing and payment by result together for each drug. So the application, the real application in a web system, and for AIFA, and of course for the healthcare professional, is difficult to applicate. Of course, increasing administrative workload for healthcare professional, quality of data depends on the compliance of the physician and pharmacist, but I said before, the system has very different control inside, that it's impossible to do something different than the scheduler report inside. But of course, for us, this is a message that I want to report here. This is an instrument, this is a tool that AIFA create for the physician, pharmacist, regents, and scientific society, but we don't know to control all the times, all the days, what we are putting, but we want to create a system that the physician can manage individually to collect data, to insert, and to have, of course, a feedback from AIFA, from this system, thanks of the reporting that we are creating. The other thing, the other critical point for us is the high number of registries, because I said before, we have actually 115 registries, are too much. And in this context, we are working, and we have to revisit the typology registries. We have to close, to analyze some of agreement inside, and probably to close some of them. And of course, do not delay any longer to analyze the registries dated. This is absolutely very important for us to go on to moving into probably other kind of collecting data. So I conclude that this mechanism are intended to share cost and responsibility with all the professional prescribers, pharmacists, pharma companies, and regulatory authority to obtain drug activity indicators and to better manage the cost of these drugs with high cost, of course. Thank you very much.